to Kindred Spirits. I'm your host, Kristi Brower, and I am so excited to be here with you here on 12radio.com. I am happy to be back. I have been away from this show for the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to talk to you all about that, why, and what's been going on. But I just want you to know I'm really excited to be here with you and excited to be back with you. I am live ×2 in the chat room. So if you go to 12radio.com and you click on chat, it will bring you right here into our Facebook group. You will see my banner pinned to the top of the page. That is the chat room for the show. So feel free to post your questions and comments there. I also have, I'm also live on Facebook Live. And so if you want to watch the show, you can. You'll find that if you just scroll down below my banner, you'll see the live feed. So if you want to watch the live feed, watch it and don't listen to the player because they don't sync up. So just do one or the other. But I'm really happy to be here with you. I love to record my shows. I save them. I post them to my website. I put them on my YouTube channel. So you can always go back and rewatch something if you find it interesting or helpful to you. I feel a little like I'm looking you in the eye when I'm talking to you when I do video. And that's why I like to do it. I feel like it makes my connection to all of you stronger. So that's a fun part of doing radio here at 12 Radio. I have a lot to share with you. I have a lot of things coming up. Now that I'm through this challenging experience that I've just been through, I feel like I'm ready to take off with a bunch of new things. So I'm going to talk to you about all of that. But I want to start with where I've been for the last 2 weeks, and most of you probably know this already, but I had my tonsils out on the 8th of March. Now, many people will tell you that having your tonsils out as an adult is much harder than being a kid. That is the biggest understatement I have ever heard in my life. This has been one of the most challenging experiences I have ever been through. I was wildly unprepared for how painful it would be. I hadn't really done my research. I kind of didn't want to know because people always tell you it's really hard and, maybe I don't want to know, but beforehand. What I didn't understand about having your tonsils out is the actual mechanics of it. So first of all, they clamp your tongue down to keep it out of the way. Well, that means that you come out of surgery with a hugely swollen and bruised tongue. I've never had a bruised tongue before. Let me just tell you, not recommended. So I had this very bruised tongue. Then what they do is they go in and they cut your tonsils out, and then they cauterize the whole inside of your throat because tonsil surgery can be dangerous because you can really bleed a lot. Well, cauterizing means burning, right? So that means that you then heal up from burns inside your throat. Let me tell you, that is an unbelievably painful and challenging experience. I've been through a pretty rough 2 weeks. I'm really glad to be, pretty close to done with this and on the other side of it. But I'm not going to say that this was an easy experience at all. And I'm still sort of processing it in some ways. I have never in my life been unable to eat. It is a really bizarre experience, I want to tell you. If you've never had an experience like this, when you physically are unable to eat and nearly unable to drink, it's a really weird experience. You begin to wonder how you're going to continue to exist. I went 4 days last week without eating anything. I've never done that before in my whole life. It was a really strange experience. I was drinking as best I could, although I did have to have a couple of IVs to help me to stay hydrated because I was having a hard time even getting enough water down because my throat was that painful that I didn't want anything, absolutely nothing. And not only did I not eat or drink anything hardly, I didn't want anything. Like normally, you go a long period of time without eating, you're hungry, you want something, when you can't eat, you're feeling like, oh, I wish I could. I have never before in my life felt like I absolutely wanted nothing. It was a really, really strange experience. It's kind of changed my view of food and just changed my view of a lot of things to go through this experience. I definitely had to call on every coping skill energy healing mechanism, everything that I could possibly think of to help me manage the pain that I was in. I do not tolerate narcotics well at all. And almost immediately after the surgery, had a vomiting episode, probably triggered by the narcotics because I have such a problem with them, that it landed me in the emergency room. And so I couldn't continue on those kinds of pain meds. And so I had to learn to manage this in different ways. I was using a couple of pain medication, but not narcotics, which are the ones that after surgery really knock out your pain. So I really had to dig deep inside of myself and use my own skills. You know, I talk a lot about a lot of things. I talk a lot about energy. I talk a lot about healing in different ways. And I really had to walk my own talk here in the last couple of weeks to get through this experience. And so that's why I thought I would talk about pain today. You've heard me talk about pain before, and it is something that I work with a lot in my practice. So as a master healer, I do a lot of energy healing work on pain. There's a lot of work that I do with emotional pain and physical pain and spiritual pain. And you know, I had to call in all of those skills for myself this week. So I wanted to share that experience with you. It was a good thing that I had this surgery, and I want to share that because there were moments where I kept telling myself, I know this is important, I need to have this. My tonsils were necrotic, which means dead. They were sort of like rotting inside my face. I know, really gross to think about. But because of chronic infections that I've had throughout my life, it's really taken its toll on my tonsils. So having them out was actually such an extremely positive experience for my health. And so getting through this has just been, you know, that reminder that, hey, I'm not going to have sore throats anymore. You know, it's going to help me with sinus infections. It's going to get better in lots of ways, right? So I had to continue to remind myself of that as I went through this experience. But I'm going to tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. And I don't mean to like scare anybody. I hope no one's out there about to have this done and terrified, because, you know, you may be able to tolerate the medication better than I can. And if you can, you'll probably be okay. This was just a particularly challenging experience for me. I've been through sort of over the last 3 years, several experiences relating to my voice, which is interesting considering what I do for a living, radio, and I, you know, phone readings. I talk for a living, literally. And 3 years ago, I had to have my thyroid out. And I had a large thyroid tumor that was pressing on my throat, that was affecting my voice, causing me, you know, some physical problems, as well as just the other problems that a thyroid tumor can cause. And so I had it removed. And then, of course, I went through a long period of healing of my voice, healing of my throat and my ability to speak. And, you know, I was away from the phone lines and from the radio for a while at that time as well. And then over the years, I have continued to struggle with my voice. And so I've actually had voice therapy from a speech and language pathologist. And it's not speech therapy, it's voice therapy. So I had that last summer to help to solve some of the vocal problems that I had developed from that thyroid surgery. So the one thing that we could never get past was chronic hoarseness that I've been experiencing off and on for several years. And that was one of the reasons to take out my tonsils, was that something in there was causing me to be chronically hoarse. So I've gone through this period over a little more than 3 years now of literally regaining my voice. And I think that this is the last step. This was the last problem that we've identified that has to be solved in my throat. And for whatever reason, you know, and I mean, we can talk a lot about you know, the energy side of this and why things were focused in my throat. And I can think of some reasons in my life, but very interesting that I've sort of been fighting this fight for the last several years to get my voice back. And I do feel that I have done that. And this is the last step of doing that, was to have these very sick tonsils removed. Now there are no physical barriers left. They're all gone. And I'm really feeling that inside of myself. Like I'm feeling kind of spunky and sassy. And I've said some things recently that maybe people would be surprised I would say. I do feel myself speaking up more and being able to communicate more clearly as this heals up. I think that's going to continue. And I'm going to change some things probably. I already have spoken up and changed some things quite recently. And I don't know. I'm not sure where all of this is going, but it's an interesting journey that I have been on. So I wanted to share it with you and, tell you that, it certainly was not a hopeless situation that I made it through. And I want to talk to you about some things that I have learned over the years about pain. Because we have an intimate relationship with pain as humans, don't we? Pain literally brings us into this world. And then we experience it in all different ways throughout our lifetimes. And it usually accompanies our deaths. So we spend much of our time trying to avoid pain. But it is usually inevitable. Pain is intangible. We cannot see it, but it is one of the strongest sensations in our physical and emotional bodies. It can kill us, but it can also save us by alerting to a problem. So pain is very important in our lives, wouldn't you say? As a healer, I'm always finding myself seeking new ways to alleviate pain, release it from the energy body in order to relieve the physical and emotional body. But some pain is so deep and so strong that we can never quite escape it. When I wrote this article, originally I wrote this article a while back, and it was during the week that a friend of mine had taken her life. And she had finally been released from a pain that she could not get away from. But unfortunately, that pain then was just transferred to her loved ones. And I think that's a very difficult reality that we face. That if we can't resolve it in ourselves, sometimes we make a choice that then transfers it onto someone else. Something to consider. I have struggled with chronic pain for half my life, so it is a constant with me, and although the daily management of it can be frustrating, it has also been the driving force behind much of my work. My study and practice with the energy body was first for myself, and has since then become the work that I share with all of you. Pain truly has been a gift in my life. Without it, I would not have been so driven to learn and understand more and more about the human energy system and how it functions in our daily lives. It really is what inspired me to do the work that I do. So interesting that pain is can be a curse, as we all know, but it can also be such a driving force behind us if we use it. But here are some things that I've learned about pain through my own experiences and observations. Avoiding pain only prolongs it. You can't run from pain, whether it's physical or emotional. You're eventually going to have to face it and deal with it. Rarely does pain just go away on its own. It's a messenger. Pain is telling us that there is something that has to be solved. Pain in the physical body often comes from dysfunction in the energy body. Now, this is not always, but it is a regular occurrence with my clientele that I find that people have pain that has no physical explanation, that when we do some releasing in the energy body can be released. So when I return the energy body to balance, the physical pain can be relieved. That's a fairly common thing to happen. Emotional pain is stored in the body if we avoid it. We will eventually have to feel it and express it, and sometimes in a very large quantity all at once. Sometimes a health crisis or an emotional breakdown can happen if we store a lot of emotional pain in our bodies. It can't stay there forever. It has to be expressed in some way. Pain is relative. We all experience it a little bit differently. So trusting someone about what hurts them and how much is key. It really does matter. And this is something that I've seen for years that I've never understood. Have you ever had someone tell you, oh, that doesn't really hurt? Oh, you don't really feel that way. That is an incredibly invalidating way to look at pain. We have to be careful and remember that what we see as pain is not necessarily what someone else sees as pain. Pain is a messenger, and if we ignore it, it will get louder, right? We've all been there. We cannot take on the pain of someone else and hurt for them. When we try to do this, then we just both hurt, but we don't solve it for the other person. As much as we may want to, that is not possible. Pain does not last forever. If we allow it, it will eventually abate. That is definitely probably the biggest mantra that I had through this experience with my tonsils is it is going to get better. And every day has gotten incrementally better. I am still in pain, but not anything like I was a week ago. And I know that one of these days I'm going to wake up and not have any. That's coming. Pain has been my greatest enemy and my best teacher, and I continue to learn how to use it, relieve it, and respect it. So it is certainly something that I work with on a regular basis and really do think about quite a lot. And leading into that, I want to tell you about something that I'm doing, and I've mentioned this before, but I'm getting much closer now to actually being able to get it started. So I want to teach at 1-2 Academy a Master Healer course. It is a 16-week course, and it will, and you don't have to have any experience with energy healing to do it. You will get everything that you need from it. If you have taken some of my courses, you will be exempt from some of the courses, but you have to go through, there are parts of them that you have to go through. I'm looking for 6 students to teach this course for the first time. It doesn't, it's pretty intense, and we work together a lot, and I need it to be a fairly small group so that we can, really get a lot of individualized work in. But I need at least, about 6 people, because we work on one another in the class, and so we need to have people to work with together. Energy healing is really important to be taught in a group because everyone has a different experience, and so learning from other people, hearing how someone else experiences something or how someone else thinks through something is really, really powerful and a part of learning energy healing. So that's what I'm doing. I plan to begin this course on the second Monday in April at 7 p.m. Pacific time on Monday nights. So that's the other thing, is that you need to be able to be there in person at this class. It will be recorded, and so you can go back and listen through it, but you can't, but you do have to be there in person. It's very important. So the way that it's going to work is that so it's a 4-month class. The first class of each month will be a skills class. So like a level 1 class, a level 2 class, a level 3 class, and a level 4 class in energy healing. So then there will be 3 classes in each month that are practice classes. So the first class you learn the skills. So like you learn the level 1 skills, the first class. Then there will be 3 classes in a row where we will practice those skills. And then we'll do the same for level 2, 3, and 4. So if you're a person who has taken levels 1, 2, and 3 of energy healing from me, you don't need to take the first class of each month for the first 3 months. You already have those skills. You just need to come to the practice sessions. I'm going to price this very reasonably because I know it's quite a commitment, but I am a master healer. I can certify you as a master healer. I can then continue to offer you mentorship. I have been teaching people professionally for 10 years, and I have taught hundreds of people how to do energy healing. This is the biggest class I have ever taught as far as length is concerned, adding all of it together with the practice sessions. But it's something that I've had a few people come to me and say that they want, and it's something I'm really excited to teach. It's important to me to get energy healing out there. For one, as we're talking about pain today, because of the unbelievable impact that it can have in your own personal life and in the lives of the people that you work with. So if you are interested in taking this class, I need to know, because I'm going to get it posted up. I will post it up this week. It will be the second Monday in April is when we will begin it. If you have any input on the timing or the day, if it is something that you want to do, please let me know. I'm going to try to accommodate everybody and get it to a time and date that works well for everyone. I normally teach on Mondays, so that's why I'm planning it on Monday. But please message me either here on Facebook or go to kristibrower.com and send me a message there and let me know if this is a class that you are interested in taking. I need you to be willing to commit to all 16 weeks. And I know that's really hard. I know it's a lot to ask. And of course, if you have to miss for some reason, we will work something out. You and I can work something out. But I want you to really work at being able to commit to this. I'm excited to teach it. We will have a very deep relationship by the time we are done with this. This is a powerful experience. So if that's something, a few of you have already reached out to me, so I know that I have a few that are planning to do this, but I don't quite have my 6 yet, and so I'd like to have a pretty good idea that I have 6, as soon as possible. So, reach out to me on Facebook or go to kristibrower.com and message me, or you can message me through the Click for Advisor system. But definitely let me know if this is something you're interested in, and we'll get started. So I'm super excited. I've been waiting to teach this class till I got through with my tonsils and got healed up to a point that I knew that I was ready to add this to my schedule as far as talking, because I already talk a lot every day, and to add a weekly class, I wanted to make sure my throat was ready. But I feel like by then I'm going to be ready for this, and I'm just so excited to be able to teach a group of you this way. So anyway, reach out to me if that's something that you want. I think we will take a little meditation break right now. And when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about the stone of the week and the card of the week. I'm going to take a look at your comments in the chat, and I will be taking your questions and your reading requests as well. Today, I wanted to do my inner peace meditation. I think that this is a meditation that's very key to finding a place of no pain inside of us. And this is more about emotional pain and spiritual pain, this particular meditation, but it's a great way to release some things that may be harming you in some way or hurting you in some way. So let's go ahead and get started with inner peace. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. Imagine that you are walking down a path in the woods. Take a moment to hear the wind in the trees. Feel the sun on your face and smell the pine needles. As you walk, you notice a sense of calm come over you, an inner knowing that all is well in this place and in you. You notice that you are approaching a log staircase that leads to a serene meadow with a small pond. As you descend the stairs, you feel your consciousness moving down into your heart, preparing you for an experience of deep inner peace. When you reach the bottom of the staircase, take a moment to drink in the magnificent scene before you. The pond is still and reflecting the blue sky and white clouds above you. There are tiny purple flowers blooming all over the meadow, nestled in soft green grass. Near the pond is a bench under a willow tree. You hear a breeze in the willow, beckoning you to come and rest. You take a seat on the bench. Next to the bench is a basket of smooth, round pebbles. These pebbles represent the cares and worries in your life that get in the way of your inner peace. Choose a worry you would like to give away. Pick up a pebble and whisper your worry into it. Sorry, lost my place. And then toss the pebble into the pond. Watch the ripples in the pond and notice how the pond returns quickly to its serene and undisturbed state. See how the pond releases the experience and returns to peace. Choose another worry and another pebble and repeat the process. Notice how each time the pond is disturbed, it returns quickly to serenity. Throw as many of your cares and worries into the pond as you would like. Although your experiences may disturb your inner peace momentarily, you can choose to return to a place of serenity just like the pond. Take a moment to remember this place and the feeling of peace here. Know that you can return here any time to release your cares and worries, and also remind yourself how to return to serenity like the pond. When you're ready, stand up from the bench and return to the staircase. As you ascend, feel your consciousness rise back up into your head, storing your experiences for future reference. As you walk back up the path, bring yourself back to awareness. Feel the earth beneath your feet, and become aware of the sound around you. And when you're ready, take 3 deep breaths and open your eyes. Okay. I don't know about you, but I always feel calmer. I always feel a sense of peace inside of myself when I do this meditation. I hope that it helps you as well. Helps us to release the things that are, really stuck in our hearts and in our heads. I want to say thank you to those of you that are responding about my class. I'm really excited about that. We're getting close to having 6, and that is just exciting. I'm really looking forward to teaching it. Okay, I wanted to just check the chat room here for a minute, see what everybody's got to say. It's so nice to be back with you guys. I don't know, I'm sure that you notice when I'm not here because you're here listening, but it is a hard thing for me to be gone. I absolutely hate to miss my show. It makes me feel terrible, but sometimes you can't really help it. Thank you all so much for telling me you're glad I'm feeling better, because me too. It is really, really nice to be back to a place of feeling like myself. People keep telling me my voice sounds like myself again, which is nice, because that is not necessarily, that you kind of lose your ability to communicate. When you're in that much pain, it's hard to actually say it to other people. I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but it was difficult for me to communicate to my family like I need help, because it hurt so much that I couldn't really get words out. And so sometimes they would just have to look at my face, and it would be like, yeah, I got to do something right now to be of assistance. So really, really interesting experience. My philosophy is always that I have an opportunity to learn from everything that I have been through. And so I try to see things that way, because it's one way that I keep my thoughts positive, is to use whatever experience I have, even the really challenging, painful ones. I've learned a lot from, and I've definitely learned a lot about my own patterns and the things that I have, found to be important or that really matter, versus before and after this experience. My relationship with food, I think, is different. I don't know, it's made me feel very philosophical. So I'm still really processing it, but overall I count it as an experience that I'm glad I went through it for multiple reasons, and I think those reasons will continue to present themselves throughout my experiences. And I really hope that they mean that, I'm not going to have any more throat infections. Ultimately, that was the main reason for doing this. So that's my big goal. Okay, so I want to share the card and stone of the week. And I wanted to invite you, if you have questions or comments, if you would like to ask for a reading, now is a great time for you to do that. I have plenty of time to read for all of you today, so I'm excited about that. So the card today is Archangel Raphael. So I'm just going to hold my card up here on the video, and I've posted him in the chat room as well. Archangel Raphael is the healing angel, and that's why I chose him. To me, he really represents our ability to call upon divine help when we are in pain, when we are struggling. We can call on Archangel Raphael himself, of course. Um, but it's not just him. I think that he represents a larger group of our divine guidance. You know, I know that I always call upon my mom and my grandmas when I'm struggling. You know, there are other divine entities that I call upon as well. But Raphael is a reminder that we can do that and get extra help when we need it. Raphael's message is all about healing, and it's a reminder to rest, take good care of ourselves, seek comfort, and ask for help. It's okay to seek help from other people. Maybe you need some energy healing. You know, I'm lucky to have, you know, master healers in my family, and so I definitely reached out to them when I was really struggling for extra help and healing. I worked on myself, but you know, when you're struggling that much, sometimes you need other people to work on you as well, and that helped me a whole lot. The challenge when Archangel Raphael comes up is pain, illness, injury, emotional damage, and trauma. And when he comes up in the cards in the Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle, it can be a reminder that it's time to focus on something like that. If you're experiencing some pain that you're not addressing, when Raphael comes forward, it's time to address it and really bring it you know, forward to a positive place in your life. The stone for Archangel Raphael is green calcite. And I'll post a postcard about green calcite here in the chat just a minute and talk about it. The meditation for Archangel Raphael is, Dear Archangel Raphael, please come to me and heal me. Surround me in a bubble of green healing light and bring me comfort. I will say that I have called on Raphael to heal me many times in my life, still do from time to time, did through this experience. And it feels very much to me as though someone were standing next to me doing an energy healing session for me. So it's definitely something that can be very helpful in a time of struggle. So it's a reminder that it's okay for us to do that. If we need it, there's not a thing wrong with asking for that kind of help. I want to talk about green calcite just for a minute. I'm going to post a postcard of it in the chat. As you know, I'm a big fan of all of the calcites, every color. I love the healing energy that we get from calcite. Calcite is such a, it's such a sweet and gentle energy. And, you know, when you're in a lot of pain, that's exactly what you need, is sweet and gentle. You don't need a, you know, something that's very intense, because you're already experiencing something intense. So green calcite is a great way to bring that down. It eases anxiety, it improves mood, and it supports a sense of peace. So that's why I included it with Archangel Raphael in my deck, is that it's a stone that is very helpful to bringing about a sense of inner peace, which means that we have, you know, alleviated pain. We can't really be peaceful and in pain at the same time. So this is a great stone to help with that. It's a good stone to carry with you. It's a good stone to meditate with. It's a good stone to sleep with. Green calcite, I know some people like to put stones under their pillows. Calcite is a great one for that because it's such a soothing energy, great for helping you to sleep. So those are ways that you can use green calcite. Okay. Let's see, I know I'm getting some questions in here. So, Oriana would like an aura reading. You betcha, Oriana. I will do that. I'm going to pull you a card as well. I'll pull everybody a card from my deck, just because I love to use it. So let's see what the cards have to say for Oriana, and then we'll take a look at your energy body. May as well hit it from multiple angles, don't you think? All right, okay. Oriana, so for you we pull Archangel Michael, who is of course the protection angel. So generally when he comes up, it's just a reminder to pay attention to any area that might be a vulnerability in your life. Are you taking good care of keeping yourself safe? And maybe are you needing a little more protection from someone in your life? Maybe you have a coworker or a family member or somebody who's a challenge. And that's a reminder to, you know, use your skills to protect your energy if you're feeling a little bit drained. So I suspect, Oriana, we're going to find that in your energy body. So let's just take a look at what's going on with you in the energy realm. Okay, so yes, you have a solar plexus attachment, which is something that we need to work on a little bit. So this is a cord that comes from someone else. This is a life force attachment. So sometimes when someone close to us is really struggling, they plug into us, sort of like plugging in an extension cord to your neighbor's house to power your own. It's not a very effective way of getting energy because it mostly just means two people are drained rather than one. And so I do feel like you're giving up some life force energy that you need for yourself. So I'm going to pull that cord and let's just see what we can do to get you feeling a little better. Your vibration's a little bit low because of this life force energy drain. So we're going to pull that cord and heal it and send it back to the person that it came from. I'll tell you, Oriana, that I do think that this is coming from a very close family member, and I think that you know who it is, and it may return. Just remember that it's always okay to pull it. You don't have to allow a cord like this for anyone. It really doesn't help them. It just makes someone more and more dependent, and it makes you more and more tired. And so it's a good idea to find ways to help that person stand on their own 2 feet and have their own energy rather than taking your own. So I'm just bringing your vibration up, brightening up your light a bit to help with sort of how drained you've been. But I think you're going to be feeling a whole lot better. And just, give yourself an opportunity to stand up for yourself on an energy level, and you don't have to allow that attachment. It's okay for someone else to stand on their own, even if they're struggling. Okay, so thank you for the question, and definitely it answers why we pulled Archangel Michael for you. So see what you can do. I know that you have a lot of good skills when it comes to protecting yourself, so it is time to use them. Okay, thank you for your question. Okay, Shannon would like a reading, so let's pull a card for Shannon. See what's up. Just do a little shuffle here for Shannon. Shannon. Okay, so we pulled Archangel Zadkiel for Shannon. I will post these cards for you guys too so that you can see. So Archangel Zadkiel is really all about the crown chakra and above. So we're talking about your highest spiritual connections. When Zadkiel comes through, it is generally a message about needing to listen and pay attention to subtle messages that are coming through, and to remind you to make a connection to your divine self. To remember that who we are in this lifetime is only really part of who we are. We are carrying a part of our divine selves in these physical bodies, but it's not all of who we are. So it's a good idea to sit with yourself, Shannon, and make a connection with your divine self, the part of you that knows you 100%, and that can help you to determine who you really want to be, what you really want to do moving forward. I feel like there are some subtle messages coming through for you, and that they are confirmations of things that you want, and that you're being pushed in some other directions, and that your influences are not necessarily are coming from you personally. So I want you to remember that it's important to take some time to connect and check in with yourself. And that's what Archangel Zadkiel is here to tell you, okay? So I think when you do that, you're going to find that there are some good confirmations there of the things that you want to do moving forward, and see, if this is, where you can go in a direction that is the very best for you, okay? So thank you very much for that question. Thanks for being here. Christine says, I'd love a quick scan. I've been feeling so drained and unfocused. Okay, let's draw you a card first, Christine, and then we'll do your scan. See what's going on. Drained and unfocused. Boy, I think that is a very common affliction for us humans, isn't it? Okay. So for you, Christine, I pulled the Moth. So the Moth is one of the guide cards in my deck, And the moth is all about perseverance and sticking it out in a situation. The reason that I put moth in my deck is my experiences with moths when I used to live on a volcano in the desert, if you can imagine. And the moths out there were just amazing. This, in the fall, when it was starting to get cold and they were going to freeze and their lives would end, they would get in anywhere you could imagine to survive. One time I left a batch of laundry hanging out on the line overnight, which I normally never did because of this reason. When I went out the next morning to get it, there were hundreds of moths in that laundry, in the pockets of the pants and up the legs of the pants and in the sleeves of shirts and things. It was crazy, but their perseverance to live, their undying attempts to survive were really inspiring to me, that they just never gave up. And so I think that's a reminder for you, Christine, that in this situation, remember to never give up, is persevere the way that the moth perseveres, okay? And let's just take a look at your energy body. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. You have tornado energy body. That's what I call when your root is shifted out and your crown has gotten really big. So your energy body, instead of looking like a straight spiral, looks like a tornado. And it does make you feel drained. It does make you feel unfocused because you're lacking life force energy and your crown is overactive, and so your mind just never stops. And so it's difficult to rest and it's difficult to get a break. So we're going to shift your root back into place. Just stabilizing that root chakra. I know this is a challenge for you with your root, but we'll get it back into place and stabilize it. And then we're going to draw your energy all the way up through your energy body and clear that crown and pull all that excess energy out of your head and get that spiral working in your body again. Get your Kundalini spiral working. Christine, if you aren't already, you should go get my meditation called Energy Breathing at KristiBrower.com. KristiBrower.com is my website, and it has a lot of free meditations. So you can click on free meditations. You'll see all of them. They're available to all of you. But energy breathing would be really good for you to do every day to keep that root stable. Okay? All right, let's keep going here. Nancy would like a reading about career. So let's do a 3-card spread for you, Nancy. See what you need to know. So I like to do a situation, action, outcome reading. It's a 3-card spread that gives us kind of an idea of what is the situation, what is the action, what should you do, and then if you do that, what will the outcome be? Okay, very good. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is such a positive reading for you, Nancy. So the situation card is the butterfly card, and that is the transformation card. So this is an indication that you're going through a period of transition and transformation. You are trying to make a change, and it's a big one. Not just a change to yourself, but a change to your whole life. And that's sometimes what career changes feel like, is sort of a whole life change. And so this is just acknowledgement that that's exactly what you're doing, is making that change. Okay, so then the action card is the spider card. I love the spider card for you. The spider is all about feminine energy and personal power. And so what this card is saying, Nancy, is that it's really, really important for you to trust yourself in this process. That means that you apply for the jobs that feel good to you and that are things that you really want to do. So it's not necessarily about the right money. It's not necessarily about the right company. It is about what feels good to you. You trust yourself, you stand in your feminine power, and you take the job that feels the best to you. And it might not be the job that other people think is the right job for you, but in your heart, you know that it is the right thing for you, okay? So this is a really important time for you to trust yourself when it comes to taking the job that fits you the best. So I don't see any barrier here to actually finding a job. I don't think that's the issue at all. I think the issue is that you need to trust yourself about which one is the right one. So go out there and look, apply for the things that you feel good about, and trust yourself in taking a job that feels like the right thing for you, okay? I hope that that makes sense. The outcome card is the fairy card, and the fairy card is all about magic and synchronicity. So when you trust yourself and stand in your own power and do what feels right to you, there's all kinds of magic and synchronicity. All of this indicates that this isn't going to be a hard process. It's just a matter of you really trusting yourself, okay? So thank you very much for that question. That is really a powerful and positive reading. So I think your outcome is going to be very good. Okay, so let's get to a couple more questions here. Eva says, I would like to take a class/workshop, but it's a little expensive. Cannot decide. Is it going to be beneficial for me or not necessarily? You know what? Should we do a yes/no? Let's do a yes/no. I like to do those with cards. Do you guys ever do a yes/no with cards? Where you shuffle half the deck upside down and half the deck right side up? Let me do that really quick so that you have some options. So what you do is you draw 3 cards, and upside down cards are no's and right side up cards are yeses, and you kind of see what you get. So Eva, let's draw 3 cards. So I get an upside down, I get an upside down, and I get an upside down. Okay, so Eva, I get a very solid no, that this is not worth its money. So as far as this card reading is concerned, all 3 cards came up as a negative. That's really strong. Sometimes when you have one, that's flipped, then you're a little more at a maybe, or maybe this is like a 66% no, but potentially it could be a yes. But when your question is this going to be beneficial for me? The answer is a solid no. Okay, so I hope that that's beneficial and helpful for you. Let's see, Liliana says, sending you love and energy healing. Thank you, I appreciate that. If you have time, I would love an energy clearing, feeling anxious and pain in my knees. Okay, Liliana, let's, we're going to clear a particular cycle of energy that flows in the body, because I feel like this is where the problem is. So we draw life force energy in through our left foot. It travels all the way up through your energy body, the top of your head, and then it pushes down the right side of your energy body out your right foot. So it's this in and out, kind of like energy breathing, but this one's up through one leg and out the other. Okay, so we're going to do this together, Liliana, because I feel like we need to do it a few times to release that stuck energy in your knees. So when we breathe in, you're going to draw life force energy up through the bottom of your left foot. As you breathe in, you're going to draw it all the way up to the top of your head. When you breathe out, push it all the way down and out your right foot. And you may feel some resistance at your knees. And that's sort of where I feel like things are stuck, and I'm going to help you to release that. So let's breathe in, okay? Breathe all the way in, all the way to the top of your head. Breathe out, all the way out your right foot, okay? Breathe in all the way up through your left foot, all the way to the top of your head. And breathe out. Let's do it again. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. There we go. Breathe in. And breathe out. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Very good. I feel that moving a little bit better through those knees, Liliana. So I want you to keep doing that. Every time your knees hurt or, you kind of notice it, do that breathing exercise 2 or 3 times and pull that energy all the way up to the top of your head and push it all the way down out your left foot, okay? Keep going with it over and over again and do that a bunch of times. I think that will balance that part of your energy body and help you release that pressure and pain that's being caused there, okay? All right. We have time for a couple more. We're almost out of time. Donna would love a card, so let's see what we've got for Donna. Oh, Donna, I drew Archangel Michael for you as well. It's funny how sometimes the same entity will come up several times on a show. That's happened to me several times recently. So Michael is always a reminder to keep an eye out for places where you could be protecting yourself better. I feel like for you this is more emotional protection from someone who's struggling with their own issues and maybe using their emotions kind of as a weapon to lash out at you. So set some boundaries, protect yourself in whatever way that you can. I don't remember if I held up the card. I'm going to do that again. And set your boundaries and protect yourself emotionally. If someone's really struggling, then it's theirs to handle. You don't have to be pushed like you have been, okay? Let's see. I'm going to draw one more. This is Kathleen. She says she loves watching me live. Thank you. I really enjoy doing live. It's a lot of fun. And so let's draw a card for Kathleen and see. She says she's feeling off and blocked. So let's see what we've got for Kathleen. Ooh, Archangel Elohim. So Archangel Elohim is an angel that is meant for protection from dark entity attachment. So this is a reminder to you, Kathleen, that you may have someone around you that is really struggling with their own selves and may actually have some kind of an attachment that is making it an attempt at reaching out at you, okay? This is kind of a big deal, more than what I can deal with really on the radio, but I would like to work with you more on this, and so if you can, come and see me at 1-2 Listen and let's work on it. Archangel Elohim has a red ring of fire that you can call on to protect yourself. And so if there's someone around you that feels kind of dark or that is making you feel nervous, call in Archangel Elohim and ask for him to place you in a red ring of fire, and he will protect you and help you to get through this time when you may be feeling a little threatened in this situation. But I would really like to work with you more one-on-one with this. So come see me at 1-2 Listen and let's do that, okay? Thank you very much for being here and for asking that question. I apologize if you're watching the live video. It just ended for some unknown reason on me. Apologies about that. The joys of technology, right? Okay, well, I know that we are almost out of time, and so I just want to remind you that you can find me here on 1-2 Radio every week, starting with the 1-2 News Show on Monday mornings, followed by Kindred Spirits. And then on Wednesdays, I have my new meditation show, and I'm really enjoying that. This week, I will be featuring meditations that are nature sound meditations. So we're going to listen to all different kinds of cool sounds that come from nature that can be used as a meditation. And I will also be here again on Thursday with the Psychic Sisters. It's our marching orders show, so we'll be giving you marching orders for the month of April for each sign. What are things that you can do to help make April a good month for you, and give you kind of a peek into what is coming up in April. Just a reminder also about my class, my Master Healer class. If you are interested, if you feel like that's something that you want to do, please drop me a message, either by email at my website, kristibrower.com. You can message me through the Click for Advisor system at 12listen.com, or you can message me here on Facebook. But I'm looking to gather a group of 6 people. When I get them, then we're going to teach this 16-week Master Healer class. I'm really looking forward to sharing that with all of you. Please stay tuned for the Keys to Awakening with Velva Dawn and Kathleen Peterson and Friends. And as always, thanks for listening to 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.